All right, what's happening? We are looking at the Qvist. It's like Swedish. Qvist Bladeworks variant PE. This is the production edition. This is on pass around from, I believe, Justin over there. Qvist, Justin Lundquist, I believe is his name, over at Qvist Bladeworks. And Lefty EDC just sent this to me just the other day. So just got this one in. This is obviously a modern version of a swayback, which is a very common traditional knife. So he sent this one to me. I thought, I'd be interested in check it out. I don't collect slip joints anymore or have any slip joints anymore really, but was interested in checking this one out. So these are all sold out. They did have a recent pre-order. My Carter versions were like a $60, and this titanium version was like $80 or $90. And they're made by QSP knives, 14C28N steel on these guys. So this guy feels a little heavy. So it's a small knife. Give you an idea of size. It's smaller than roughly the same size as a Para 3, maybe a little smaller. I think it's gonna be a little smaller than a Bug Out, which those two knives are like my favorite EDC size knives. The Para 3 and the Bug Out, like carry those ones all the time. So it's a little bit smaller. Obviously the unique handle design of the swayback, how the hump of the handle goes back up like this and curves. It's very popular for people with certain types of hands. It's not one of those handle designs that is going to work for everyone. It is not neutral like, a Bug Out handle is. Like, this should work for every hand, unless you got just giant hands, right? Para 3 skinny variant, like these AB80 WT scales, works also because it's neutral. There's a little bit of a curve there, but for the most part, pretty neutral handle, right? So this looks neutral as far as, this is concerned, but how this sweeps back into your hand, it honestly, like the first time I picked this up, I thought, this feels super weird. It's a little awkward. But before I get into that, let me finish up with the weight, because I was curious. Don't want it in grams. Don't want fluid ounces. There we go. So 4.3 is pretty hefty for the size of knife right here. I mean, obviously the Bug Out is really light, 2.5 ounces for the aluminum version. This is 3 ounces with the liner delete. So a little bit heavy for its size. I think my SNG Striders weigh around 4.5, 4 point. So they're, not much heavier, and they're a bigger blade and heavier duty. So yeah, a little on the chunky side. No milling on the titanium, obviously to keep the cost down. He's got 2 slabs of titanium. You do have a nice deep Perry pocket clip. I do love this color combination, just this like raw titanium with, I don't know if it's raw titanium, what kind of finish is on this exactly, but it's not like a stone wash. But the black hardware, I've always been a fan of that like combination. It looks really good. And I like the blade shape with that. And this is a traditional swayback blade shape of the Warncliffe. But the handle itself, like the first time I picked this up, it just felt weird. Like I was like, I don't know where to grip the knife because it feels weird with this hump going back into my palm. It's kind of a hot spot for me. So like I said, this knife handle design is not going to work for everyone. It's hard to tell if it's going to work for you until you get one in hand. Now, if I choke up a little bit, like past this little area here and kind of rest my thumb here, it's better. But then my thumb is really close to, or my index finger is very close to the edge. Don't love that. So I'd have to choke back here to feel a little bit more secure, and that feels kind of weird. And it also just doesn't point naturally. I know that sounds weird for a knife, but like when you go to cut stuff, it just doesn't like, I feel like I have to like jack my wrist all weird to cut. It just doesn't, it's just not a natural cutting motion for me. Like, whereas like a neutral handle, like a Bug Out, just feels normal, right? Just feels normal. Like you don't have to like adjust your wrist. You just pick it up, cut, done, right? This, I'm like, pick it up, just feels, and I don't have to. I think it's a psychological thing, but it's just something I don't like about the handle design. So this knife is, if you're into modern traditionals, this is a good entry point. It's a good price point. It's well made, has a nice action. You can middle finger flick it. There is a small front flipper, which I like how discreet the front flipper is. You can barely tell it's a front flipper. I really like that. So you can do it that way. You can do it with your thumb, or obviously opening hole for the win method. So I like the deployment methods of it. I like this, the overall size is actually pretty good. It's a good size. I would actually love to see this without the sway back. Like, I know that's the idea of this knife, but I'd love to see it with just a neutral handle design, just kind of straight back and a curve at the end with the opening hole, the same blade shape, and I'd be sold. I'd want one for sure. But it's just the blade shape or the handle shape just doesn't work well for me. But he's sold. I mean, he's obviously sold out the pre-orders, so these are doing well for him. There's a custom variant as well that you could have ordered at one point. But, you know, the value is really good. I mean, for what you're getting. 14C28 is a great budget steel. It's one of the best budget steels. I wish it was used more than D2 and a few other ones that are constantly used. So I like 14C29. It takes a nice keen sharp edge, easy to sharpen, you know, decent toughness. So I like it quite a bit. I like the steel choice. The overall like design of the handle just doesn't work for me. Like I said, if he made this with imagine this with just straight across, kind of like the bug out handle, right? Just straight across like that, and then curve like that with that blade shape, golden, be awesome. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap up my impressions of this knife. Thanks again for Qvist Bladeworks, Qvist. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Bladeworks for sending this out for the pass around. Thanks to Lefty EDC for sending it to me. Got a couple more pass arounds, a little channel update here. Should have some more knife videos coming soon. I've got a couple pass around knives coming in from Lefty as well. The Nimble Warncliffe from Everyman's EDC, and the Stout Lefty's design. So pretty cool to get those in. Check those out. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.